apply to top companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice. So just you can say that in 5 minutes because we are live now. So yeah, we're live now. So I just want to. So you tell your story first. Let's share on socials. Let me share on socials. Let me share on. I'll send you the link.
Is this session being recorded?
Yes, it will be. This thing will be on the YouTube channel for people to rewatch.
Okay. I'm recording here as well.
I think you need to increase your audio too.
Increase my audio.
Or I don't know whether speaking to the mic, if that would be the right.
Okay. All right, let me know when I can start.
All right, because we're live, guys. Let's just share on our socials and then in like 5 minutes to kick off, or 7 minutes.
So is this the link I can share? Because I have some people from my end who want to join.
Okay, wait. Let me give you the YouTube link. Just a minute. Let me give you the YouTube link from there. View on YouTube. Let me get the link. Okay. Yeah, let me give you the live link now.
All right.
It's coming in now. Excellent. Yeah, let me forward to you. Okay. Yeah, so I've sent it to your WhatsApp. The live link.
Great.
I want to just share on LinkedIn and Facebook in 5 minutes. Then keep on.
Okay. I hope we are not broadcasting here.
Yeah, we are, but I mean, anyone that joins into will just.
Okay.
you hear me?
If I drop a message in the chat, who sees it?
Yes, I'll see it if you drop in the chat.
Okay.
So I don't know why my video is not coming, but even if it doesn't come on, you can be on video, but my audio works. I don't know if I try to go on. Okay, I've seen your chat. Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. It's not very organized, and it also doesn't support long messages. Okay, I'll just use the one I'm using here.
So we'll kick off in like 5 minutes.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I don't know how your video looks like though.
You want me to turn on my camera?
Yeah, you can turn on yours because I don't know why mine is.
Okay,
Not today.
hold on.
But my audio works, so I'll just leave the audio.
How is it?
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it's nice. Good. So guys, anybody watching can just what's the word now? I think we'll kick off in 12:10, right? So anyone watching should just fast forward to that time because we're trying to share on socials and all that. So the video officially starts 12:10. So, guys, we're live now. You're welcome to your Expert Tech Guide, episode 7. Hi, Peter Collins. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. We are pumped for today's episode, and I'll apologize ahead of time for my camera. I do think there's some technical issue at my camera, but Peter Collins will be live. Right. So, you're welcome to your Expert Tech Guide episode 7, and our
I'm glad to
topic
be here.
today. Yeah, you're welcome, Peter Collins. I'm going to do a short introduction, and then you take it up with your story, and then a Q&A for the next 15 minutes. So today's episode says learn 5 hacks I used to land successive local and international remote roles. Awesome, awesome topic. I mean, I can't wait for us to go into what we have today. So I'll
Yeah.
quickly introduce Peter Collins. So who is Peter Collins? Peter Collins is an experienced front-end engineer and project manager with relevant experience in planning and execution of software projects. Peter Collins built excellent user interfaces using JavaScript, TypeScript, React, NextJS, VueJS, NuxtJS, GraphQL, and a host of other front-end tools. Peter Collins works in an agile environment using collaborative tools such as Jira and ClickUp for issue tracking and work management. Peter Collins has worked as a freelance team member and team lead, and is currently a front-end engineer at Lifebit UK. So, Peter Collins, you're welcome once again. A round of applause, a warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
quickly, in the next 15 minutes, you'll tell us your story on this hacks. You'll share with us the 5 hacks, and then we'll go into the question and answers. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I've been privileged to connect in the previous episodes of this series, and I can say you're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up,
Thank you so
and
much.
thank you very much.
Thank you so
It's
much.
been informative so far, and I hope to do justice to this episode. Like you rightly said, my name is Peter Collins. You've done a very good job at the introduction, but I would just highlight a few points. First of all, from my experience, I graduated as a mechanical engineer and not a software engineer. And my software engineering journey has actually been self-taught because of my passion for problem solving. And I found that it was not readily available opportunities to solve problems using my academic background and the skills I acquired from there were not readily available, but the internet has made opportunities available for anyone anywhere to solve problems using software. And so that's how I started the software journey. I had projects in mind, things that I wanted to achieve that drove me into learning software programming. I started from HTML, CSS, JavaScript, building my hobby projects and all of that. And that was basically the beginning of it. After that phase, I began freelancing. That was for clients in Port Harcourt. One of them, very notable, was an e-learning platform during the COVID-19 period for a business school that was based in Rivers State. And then I began to look into bigger projects, more impactful projects. I worked freelance with a fintech called ConnectWeb, before I got my job at ValueJet. And a little about that, I was part of, you know, the team that developed the internet booking engine for the aviation company, and there were a lot of challenges that we solved before that could happen, and it took a lot of collaboration too. And then I moved on to my role at Lifebit, which has been around front end development and QA, of course. So for the last 1 year, I've dabbled into QA, that's quality assurance, using end-to-end testing frameworks like Test Cafe and Playwright for end-to-end test automation. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about two major points. One of them is joining a tech community can help you land a tech role faster than watching endless YouTube tutorials. And the second point I'll be talking about is you can get a remote job advertised to require work permit without having one. So these are the 2 points, and I'll be sharing my experiences around these. So the first thing to do when looking to land a remote role, I'm going to be very generic because I can already foresee that there are people in different fields who can find this information useful. So I'll try to be very generic and not specific to front end engineering. The first thing you can do is create a mental map of the industry. So if you are looking to get into tech, tech has a lot of roles and a lot of moving parts. There are so many processes that happen at different points to achieve different goals. So the first thing you should look at, I would be specific. If you are looking to get into, let's say, the aviation industry, who are the customers? Who are the customers? Who are the people who patronize the company that you'll be working for? Who are the service providers? So what services are offered in that industry? So for example, the aviation industry, you have flight booking, you have cargo services, you have charter services, right? These are the services. And so who offers these services? These are the service providers, the airlines like ValueJet, Airpeace, and the rest of them. And you also have what are the processes that happen. So between booking a flight and actually flying, what happens in between? Um, on the first of all, your first point of contact is usually either the ticketing agent at the airport or the internet booking engine online. Who are the people involved in these processes? And what is the size of the market? What is the future of the industry? These are things to look at when creating a mental map of the industry you're getting into. And it will help you to be better prepared to target the right opportunities because, like it or not, if you are desperate for a job, you will go for anything. But if you know where you want to fit into, then you would surround yourself with information that can get you there. So creating a mental map is usually the first place to start. Then filter out skills in your area of interest. This is my second point. What part of the process is your ikigai? So there is a Japanese term called ikigai, and it's actually in English. It could mean what gives your life value, meaning, or purpose. So, ikigai is an intersection of, in the context of work, it's an intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what you can get paid for, and what the world needs. So, if you can find something you love, you find what you are good at. What you love, what you are good at, there has to be an intersection between them. And that intersection is your passion. So, if you find your passion, and then the intersection between what you are good at and what you can get paid for is your profession, right? So hone your skills into what you can get paid for. And then your vocation, of course, is the intersection between what the world needs and what you can get paid for. So your ikigai at the center of all this is actually something that you love, that you are good at, you can get paid for, and is relevant to the world. If you can find an intersection between all of these, it would take some introspection, looking into yourself and telling yourself the truth. The truth is that the answer to these questions can only be individualized, and no two people can have the same um, exact answers to these questions. So it's a journey of, it's a personal journey. into
Yeah.
finding what you love, what you can get paid for, that is relevant, and of course that you are good at. Consider all the linked processes uh, in your area of interest. So, for example, I'm a front end engineer, and I consider that before there is ever a need for a front end engineer, there has to be need for a software project. And so, if there's need for a software project, then components of a software project, there are the project planners, there are the designers, and of course other developers like back-end developers, QA engineers, and the rest of them, CI/CD, DevOps. So
Yeah.
consider all the linked processes, because these are the people you are going to be spending one third of your day interacting with. If you work 8 hours a day, that's one third of your 24 hours. And so you want to be in a place where you feel very comfortable interacting with the people around you, because it will also help your psyche and help to maintain your
Mm.
productivity. Watch movies, podcasts, videos, and all about the day to day in the role that you are applying for. So if you are going for a front end engineer role, make sure you look out for, um, now it may not be entirely conscious, but make sure that in your subconscious, you're looking out for things around the front end engineer role. So, for example, if you buy a new car and it's a green Toyota, for example. I've not seen a green Toyota before, by the way. So if you buy a green car and you look around, you begin to notice whenever you're driving on the road that you would notice the type of your car more than you used to
Mm.
before. So
Yeah.
it's the thing about surrounding yourself with information. If you begin to surround yourself with front end developer information, when you're browsing the internet, you will just start finding it everywhere.
Mm. Mm.
And the more you are interested in that information, the algorithms would even help you to get to where you are going to, because
True.
then Google
True.
starts suggesting to you, oh, this blog post, oh, look at this post, look at this company that is raising funds, look at this one that is hiring front-end engineers. You can set alerts on LinkedIn, and everything you'll be getting are from companies who are looking for front-end engineers. So
True.
surround yourself with the information so that it can condition your mind. The next thing to be involved in is learning and implementing. So I call it the learn implement loop. One thing that is very common in these days is tutorials everywhere on YouTube, Udemy, courses everywhere. But there are only very few of these courses that cater for the implement part of the loop.
Mm. Mm.
The truth is, when you learn something, that's knowledge in your head. When you
Mm.
implement, that's knowledge displayed. Now, if you are somebody who sells, for example, you are a magician and you want to advertise to people that, hey, I can do this trick and I can do that trick. You don't advertise to people by telling them, hey, come check this out. I can bring out a handkerchief from this hat. I can bring out a rabbit from the same hat, and I can do
Mm.
all sorts of trick. No, what you do is you just find a small audience and you go there and begin to display your tricks to them, right?
Mm.
So implementation is the way you display your tricks to potential employers. When you learn what you have learned, how how did you put it to use? Find problems that you can solve with the new knowledge you have acquired. It may not be much. It may just be how to write a function in JavaScript. So you've learned how to write a function. What functions are you writing? Are you writing problems that functions that can solve your immediate problems as a developer? Because in truth, for you to be able to solve the problem that a company has or a client has, you first have to have displayed the ability to solve your own problems as a developer. Basic problems that you encounter, like monotonous tasks, automation of those tasks, or you wish there was a tool that could do this and that for you. Why don't you just go ahead and create a tool? You may not be very good at it. You may not even have enough experience to get it done. But the fact that you acted on that thought with the knowledge that you have will spoil you, and it will drive you even to go after more knowledge, because now you have a goal that you are trying to achieve, and so you would go all out to look for that the knowledge to achieve that goal. One other thing I would advise you to do in the learn implement loop is to build and publish. So for me, before I landed my on-site role at ValueJet, I was involved in open source contributions on NPM. I published 2 packages there, and though not very optimized because of my level of experience at the time, but it did not hold me back from building and publishing. That's why packages have versions. So version 0.0.1 may not be very good. So that's why you can upgrade to version 0.0.2. You can create a patch, you can do a minor upgrade, or you can do a major upgrade. So basically, these uh, building and publishing gives you some social credibility, because you have code out there that even if so many people are not using, you are using the code, and it solves your immediate problems. And then if it's that good, so many other people will find out, oh, this also solves a problem that I've been having, and they begin to use your package as well. And it helps you to build your credibility, because an employer sees, oh, this person has developed, has demonstrated the ability to solve problems just by publishing a small package, right? Learn every day and on the go. So there's this app I usually use. I'm not advertising for them in any way. It's Solo Learn. Um, those years when I was just getting into programming, learning to code, I used Solo Learn, uh, self-paced learning, to build my skill. And they give you certificates as a plus. So basically, on my phone, whenever I just find myself scrolling through social media and I catch myself like, what am I doing with my time? I go over to Solo Learn, look at the courses that I've started there, and continue from where I stopped. I've done the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, different courses on Solo Learn, and it helped me in the beginning. So that installing apps that can help you, give you daily challenges. Hey, you need to complete this and this amount of time or tasks on our platform, helps you to stay motivated on a day-to-day basis. Develop your problem solving skills alongside your coding skills. So there's a difference between being able to code and being able to solve a problem. You may know how to write a function, you may know how to write an asynchronous function, you may know how to do promises and callbacks and all of that. But you encounter a problem that is so complex that you need to even know how to apply that skill that you have,
Mm.
because you could solve a problem in a very suboptimal way and indirectly be causing more problems. So develop your problem solving skills alongside your coding skills is very helpful. And for this, you have platforms like HackerRank, LeetCode, a lot of them out there that give you daily challenges. You
Mhm.
can solve different kinds of mathematical or logical problems. And one platform that I really, really love, because the challenges there are unlike any platform out there. These are pure mathematical problems that you must solve using programming concepts. That
Mm.
platform is called Project Euler, Project EULER.
Mm.
I
Let me drop
spent
it
some,
in the comments.
yes, okay, I can drop it here. Project EULER. So
Nice.
this platform exists to help developers hone their problem solving skills. Also take note of details when you come across terms that you don't know. So you are online watching a YouTube video or listening to a webinar, something, and you come across a term, somebody says something, and you don't really understand what that means. The first instinct of someone who is really passionate about what they do is, what is that? And take it down, even if you're not able to look it up instantly, but just write it down somewhere or make a mental note of it. this thing, I need to go into it and find out what it actually means and how it relates to me. It helps you a lot because apart from building your vocabulary in your area of interest, it helps you to also build your knowledge. So when
Yeah,
you see someone that has worked in Google or at Meta speaking about something and you really don't understand what they are saying, then it tells you that hey, there's a knowledge gap here, and
mm,
to fill up that gap by taking note of details. Get some depth. Never leave your mind idle. Problems are solved in the mind, away from your computer. So uh,
yeah,
there are problems that you would encounter, and after hitting your head and pulling your hair, you cannot solve that problem instantly. It
mm,
makes sense to keep these problems as background processes in your mind. So what
mm,
happens is when you come across a challenge, if you fixate your mind on solving that challenge, whether you are presently on your system or not, what happens is in the background, any other information that you come across that points towards a solution to that problem, your mind will definitely, it will just instantly click that, hey, you remember this, we've not
yeah,
solved it. And it will pop up that process immediately. And you can make progress in solving that problem. Or sometimes you're listening to someone and it just occurs to you that this concept they are talking about can be used to solve this problem that I've not solved yet. You get?
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
So never leave your mind idle. Try to compartmentalize your problems and just keep them as background running processes so that when the time is right, when you find new information that can be helpful, it will click. The next thing I
mm,
want to talk about is collaborating and joining communities. So take ownership of your projects, attend webinars, ask questions, and see how experts are solving the problems. Joining communities starts with your immediate locality. If you are a
mm,
developer, then you must be a member of a Google developers group. You should be. You should
yeah,
be a member of, groups within your locality.
mm,
So when I was in Port Harcourt, I joined different developer groups. Some groups as far as Abuja I joined. And
mm,
in one of those groups, I was opportuned to be in a live session with the CEO and founder um, of Free Code Camp. I don't know if
yeah,
you know.
frequent camp, yeah,
Yeah, so joining communities like this opens you up to the professional space. And in that interview, I had some great takeaways that can never leave me till now.
mm,
Like, number one, contributing to open source is what has gotten the tech community to where we are today. Because there are several projects that our projects are built upon, which would not have been possible if people did not say, hey, let's just make this code open source.
yeah,
Let's
sure,
help developers around the world solve the problems that we have created solutions for without asking for money. There's a lot
mm,
of open source materials on Node Package Manager, a lot of open source materials on GitHub. You can find projects that solve different kinds of unimaginable problems right now because people just decided to sacrifice their time and effort contributing to open source, and it helps us get ahead a lot faster.
yeah, sure,
Attend webinars like Geeko JS Nation, Kit Nation. There are a lot of platforms that host webinars, and these are not just local webinars. Now there are international webinars. Like the Nation webinars usually feature speakers from around the world and guests also from around the world, top companies, staff from top companies talking about the latest innovations and the top trends, best practices, things that they use in their day to day that can be helpful to you as you grow. So try and find webinars like Geeko conferences, JS Nation conferences, Git Nation conferences, and others as they apply to your specific area of interest. Ask questions on these webinars too and see how experts are solving the problems. So whenever I join these webinars, if it's something that is related to the tools that I use to work, when someone is speaking about those tools, I try to find pain points I've encountered in using these tools and ask questions around these pain points like how do you people solve this particular challenge and what is the best approach to doing this or to implementing this, and the responses you get from there most times will be very beneficial to you. And of
Mm.
course, it's good to ask relevant questions, questions that you cannot just get generic answers for with a Google search or asking
Mm.
ChatGPT. Questions that would require someone who has actually been there, done that, to give you
Yeah.
advice. Applying to top companies is my last talking point. So smaller companies and startups tend to adopt processes and best practices from established organizations. So which is why I advise if you want to get ahead, no matter your level of experience, apply to top companies. In 2021, 2022, around this period, I remember applying to at least 4 to 5 top companies, Turing, TopTal, Tunga, Landing.jobs. I went all out on this platform. And eventually, on Landing.jobs, I was able to find the role that I'm currently working in now. And if I wasn't applying to top companies, very established companies like YOLO Group, they run casino apps, betting apps, and the rest of them. If I was not, you know, in that line, going out, reaching out to them, getting the interviews, taking their technical tests, and ultimately failing those tests, it wouldn't
Mm.
have, built a learning experience for me that I could use in order to land the roles that I currently have. So taking those tests and failing is one way to quickly build your experience. Fail fast, learn fast. Now, these companies, they record their interviews, most of them. So I mean, you'll be better equipped for interviews after studying the process, and companies record interviews. Why don't you? So if you
Mm.
are an applicant and the company is asking for your permission to record the interview, you too should ask for permission to record the interview as well, because it will serve
Yeah.
as a guide for future interviews. You would know what questions to expect, and if you don't get asked those questions, you can suggest them like, hey, assuming someone asks you, what are the 2 best projects that you are most proud of? And can you talk about them? What key problems did you encounter during these projects and how did you go about solving them? You already have information, you are equipped for the next interview from the previous one. And as you go, your failure rate begins to reduce and your success rate begins to increase, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I think that was quite extensive. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So I think we'll go into the questions now. We already have some in the comment section. Militech Hub, welcome me. We see you. Thank you for tuning, for joining us. Isaac, we see you. So Isaac says, could you list some of these webinars in the chat? I think you talked about some webinars you attended, I think, in your story. So
Yes.
he says
So I
to
would
list some.
I'll drop them here in the chat. There's the Geeko conference. They are, I think, based in Ukraine, and they organize conferences for different sets of professionals, QA engineers, cloud architects, front end, and the rest of them. So look up Google Geeko conferences.
Mhm.
There
So
is
they'll be
Google.
coming in now in the chat.
Yeah, there's Google Extended, there's Google I/O Extended, there is JS Nation, they also organize conferences, and Git Nation. And you can find a lot more if you just do a Google search for developer conferences coming up within the month. You can find the ones around you to attend in person and find the ones you can attend remotely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you so much. You can find the ones
I must
around you,
note
the
that
Googles.
some of these conferences are paid. So
Mm.
they offer paid senior tracks, and then they offer junior tracks that are free usually. So you can go for the junior tracks and get the insights that you need.
All right, great, great, great. So you can choose your track and yeah, go for it. Okay, thank you for that. I hope that answers your question, Isaac. So you can just indicate in the comments if that answers your question. Now, question one quickly we say, how can I leverage my existing skills and experience to transition into more challenging remote roles?
Okay, so leveraging your existing skills and experience to transition into more challenging roles is about doing the best and the most with where you are and what you have now. I'll give an analogy. You go to an employer, there's a role they're hiring for, and you put in your CV. Everything on your CV signals your ability and your capacity. So
Mm,
if you have a BSc or whatever degree, it signals to the employer that this person was able to set out for something and achieve it within 5 years.
mm,
I went to school, I was focused on achieving this, and I was consistent and dedicated enough to go through it. I did not at any point say, hey, look, I'm chickening out of this. I can no longer continue because the pressure is too much. So
mm,
it signals already to them. Then they look through your past experience, and believe me, value they value exceptional skills like on the job I did this and that. Apart from my basic responsibilities, I was able to optimize the process. So we were
mm,
running a process that takes about 4 to 5 days to complete. I was able to optimize the process to just 1 day, and it helped us process a lot more volume of work or
mm,
something around this.
mm,
Employers would jump on people who are conscious of the processes that happen within the workspace and optimization more than just doing the
mm,
routine tasks, because if
mm,
with one optimization, routine tasks can be totally changed and productivity can be greatly increased. So if your focus is on
mm,
carrying out your basic job roles and responsibilities, you may want to change that into focusing on productivity and focusing on
mm,
output, because for the company it's about how they serve their customers. So basically anything that is not directly contributing to that is a waste. So yeah, if you can signal to your employers, future employers of course, that at your current place, wherever you find yourself, you are
mm,
focused on solving the problems that you encounter in the best way possible.
mm,
Yes, you
mm,
can solve the problem, but is that the best approach to it given the circumstance that you are
mm,
around? So being aware of different
mm,
factors and how each of these factors affect your work and how your work also affects them is one very
mm,
key point that employers will be pleased to see that you have.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, something very striking for me is when you said your ability to go beyond your routine task. is crucial for me because a lot of people just want to do what they say they should do, right? And that ends it. So yeah, I think as much as possible too, you should go the extra mile and see how much. Because I mean, it's not nice wanting to just use those words on LinkedIn when you didn't do them. A lot of people do that. So
Exactly.
they say, yeah, we optimized so by 5%, blah blah, just to sound all nice on LinkedIn and all professional, but you actually didn't do that. And maybe when you're required to, or when you're on the job, they find out that okay, you're not even what you say online. So you really have to go over and above to ensure that yes, you find things to optimize, you find processes to optimize, rather, you find tasks to to improve upon. I think that's very profound for me. That really made a lot of sense to me. All right, so we have
Yeah.
questions here. We have Isaac still saying, how did you prepare for the test on top tile and the likes, and how did you improve fast?
Okay, so I will share my top out story. It's very short. I failed the test 2 times. And
I
the
love the
first time,
sincerity there.
the first time I took the test, I was not feeling very well. So when I failed the test the first time, I thought to myself, okay, this might be because I'm not feeling very well. Let me give myself 1 week. And I reached back to them. I told them, hey, I don't like my performance on that test. And I think it might have been affected by the fact that I was not feeling very well. So can I do a retake of the test? They said, sure. But after this take, then you would have to wait 2 years before you can apply again. I said, that's fine. And I took the test second time. I just found out that I failed again. So I went back to the kind of questions I saw during the test. These were very simple questions, but it was a test of more about your problem solving skills than your programming skills. So then I knew the value of actually learning how to solve problems and questioning your approach to make sure that you are taking the best route, because the tests actually, you know you could solve the problem, but then in a very suboptimal way that takes longer than expected to execute, and that also would be a disqualifying factor. So basically, training on lead code, HackerRank, Project Euler has helped me a great deal.
Mm. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes. So, I mean, for me, I love the sincerity, right? And I love how you were bold to reach out to them. Some people just feel like these people are robots. No, like they are humans like you. So I think you should learn to
Yeah.
engage your emails. Yeah, learn to.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, they're even more willing to help. Like for instance, you have an interview tomorrow and you can't make it. Don't feel under too much pressure, really. If you even look at the emails, you see where they have options to reschedule sometimes. So I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
just always ensure that yeah, you're communicating. Communication is the key, and not just you know feeling
true.
like if I feel this thing, no, 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 just calm down. And they are human beings too. Yeah, we need to help. All right, awesome. I hope that answers your question, Isaac. Another comment. Yeah, Isaac. Yeah, good, good. So yeah, I think that answers the question. All right, awesome. Let's go to question two. Question two says, what role do soft skills like communication, empathy, and the likes play in succeeding in remote positions? I think this is a very important question. And how can I
Hmm.
develop and showcase them? Because a lot of developers are somewhat, they term them jicky, right? Or
Yeah.
yeah, what's the best word? Outliers, right? Yeah, so they
So
feel like
when
they don't need
you,
to communicate, just write code and write code.
yeah, basically coding is communication too, because you are communicating with the
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
computer executing your commands.
Yeah.
So communicating with computers is a lot different from communicating with human beings, because in communicating with computers you give commands, but in communicating with
Mm.
human beings you have to be empathic. I have a mentor back then when I was, looking very desperately looking for remote jobs, and he told me, if you are looking to gain an entry level position, make sure that beyond putting your skills forward, you put yourself forward.
Mm,
Communicate your value and your interest to whoever is recruiting first, because
mm,
this would influence their decision whether or not to take it up with you. And it has helped me a great deal. I've built a lot of relationships in the process with recruiters. In fact, recruiters who did not
mm.
give me the job, but I have a working communication with them. So it helps me
Mm,
in future positions where if they are looking to recruit for that position I applied for, they can easily reach out to me and, hey, are you interested in this position? We have this vacancy, right? I have a bunch of them where I applied once, I didn't get the job.
mhm,
They reached out to me again for the second interview and say, hey, this position, we have another
mm,
similar position to the one you applied for. If you are interested, apply. And I just keep putting in my applications. So it helps you to build these networks, because it's not just about now. Later, they could have open
yeah,
roads you can fit in. So build
yeah,
communication with yeah. And also
yeah, awesome.
in showing empathy, sometimes due to workload, people fall short. You may be
Mm,
expecting a response from an interviewer today or this week, and because of the workload, the number of applicants they have, they are not able to respond to you this week. You can just send a follow-up message and leave it. Don't
mm,
tend to blow hot at them.
yeah,
These are people with a lot of work on their laps, and you won't
mm,
understand how much work they have to juggle until you get in, and then you say,
mm,
oh, okay, this is the reason why this person spent this amount of time trying to get back to me, because there was actually a lot they were handling.
true, true, true. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, these
Yeah,
people also have families too. Don't forget. I
true.
mean,
And
they also
they
have to
also
be.
have their work-life balance.
You get out the work life, and that brings us to question 4 about work life balance. So, how do you manage work life balance in remote roles, especially as responsibilities and projects become more complex? I mean, we see all those trends where people just close their videos and they are eating or doing something, and
Yeah.
then like they are talking to them because it's remote, right? So you can always just still do what you, yeah. But so just to put that in, how do you manage work life balance?
So the work-life balance starts with your ikigai, like I mentioned before. You must love what you do and not feel um, overly stressed when you are called upon to do what you love. But
Mm,
also, there's a space for, managing your relationships with your family, your friends, your spending time doing your hobbies as well. So your
mm,
work life balance is it's actually something that you need to stand up for yourself for, because if you leave your employers, they would gladly have you do their work all day. But
they'll engage you.
yes, they
Very
will,
well, engage you very well.
during the weekends and all of that.
Yeah.
So making conscious efforts to take yourself out, to take a break, helps you a lot to recalibrate, because at a point, going very deep into your work and getting absorbed in it, the deeper you go, the more there is to do, and you will find
Mm,
that at a point your productivity will begin to drop, and that's the point of
mm,
burnout. That is a signal.
mm,
If something used to take you 3 hours to complete before, now it takes you 5 hours, 8 hours to complete, it's a sign that you need to take some time out and
mm,
recalibrate.
mm,
And during your free
mm,
time,
mm,
whatever you do is up to you, but it's also not a time to take your mind off the work, because when the
mm.
work is running as a background process in your mind, then whatever you expose yourself to during your free time tends to you will tend to pick out
become like a catalyst.
missing parts of the puzzle, so that when you go back
Mm-hmm.
to your work, you've gotten the solutions to things that you are finding difficult at first.
Yeah, that's true. Very correct. Like sometimes you find inspiration in in just maybe I mean, let's say you take a break, you go to the waterfront and you're sitting,
Yes,
just letting all that nature get to you. I mean, inspiration could just come from
you draw
solution to a
inspiration
problem.
exactly that you can take back to
Exactly.
your work.
Yeah, true. So that's absolutely awesome. So I think it's the last question, and then your last words would go after this question because I think we're already, for want of time, this should be the last question, and then your last words, and then we'll call it. Yeah. So can you share examples of challenging situations, maybe just one, you faced while working remotely and how you navigated through them successfully?
Challenging situations. Okay, I will give one challenging situation that is not directly connected to the actual work. So this situation is actually about relationships. Now, working
Mm,
remotely means you don't get to see your colleagues one on one,
yeah.
and some nuances that could have been communicated in face to face relationships don't get communicated over the network. So, for example, someone says something to you that doesn't really go down well with you. If they were in the same room with you and looking at your face, they would notice your mood change. But then,
Mm,
because they are not there, they don't notice
mm,
anything. And I had a situation where, due to the fluctuation in exchange rates and all of that, I was in a fix because a lot of a lot of the cost was now bearing on me. And being able to clearly communicate, hey, look, I'm not very comfortable, um, because the exchange rate has affected a lot of things for me, and take that up was, I would say, a major step. It was a challenge for
mm,
me
mm,
on
mm,
several
mm,
fronts, and being able
mm,
to communicate effectively to the right people,
mm,
helped me to overcome that challenge. And having that challenge solved boosted my morale to work, because then it signaled to me that my employer is actually very empathetic and very,
mm,
very concerned about my welfare and how I feel on the job. We
mm,
have performance reviews and all of that, and these are moments of retrospection where we go over the last 3 to 6 months of our work and carefully look at the pain points, highlight
mm,
them to the management, and from that, steps are taken, actions are taken to make the work environment a lot more conducive for productive work. So challenging situations, yeah, they may be about directly about writing code and solving problems, but also challenging situations for developers. One of the major challenging situations is communication, effective, proper communication,
yeah,
language that
effective
people
communication.
understand.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
And
Wow,
that
thank you
that's
so much.
yeah, for that we usually have developer advocates. That's the major reason for that role, if I
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
true,
a
exactly.
big challenge, and being able to solve that challenge in the
Yeah,
workplace
yeah.
usually creates a better environment. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, this is awesome. We've come to the end of episode 7. Thank you, Peter Collins. I think this is super enlightening, and we're going to, I mean, have like 1 minute videos within the week to, recap and all and share on our social media. So please do well to click the description, follow us on LinkedIn, and look out for updates. Yes, yes, yes. And also, please subscribe to the channel for to be able to receive early updates on episode 8. Click the button, click the bell, and subscribe. I mean, we'll be doing this for a very long time, and we're sure to give you enlightening and educative comments. Thank you so much, Peter Collins,
Thank
once
you for
again.
having
It's a
me.
pleasure having you on board, and we don't take this for granted. Thank you, and bye for now.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have an awesome day. Bye.